we can see the whole of the screen. And so we are off. We're off. Okay, so just to give you a bit of an update, okay, so I've put these buttons in here because my idea to secure this is to, I'll just undo this because I just put that round there so I didn't lose the button, is to have the button on this hole and then a loop of thread on this side and have some clips or some split not split pins, what are they called? The rings, split rings. What are the rings called that split? They're called split rings. Anyway, so I thought about having that so then you can take this out, put it back, etc. So that kind of might change a little bit, but we'll kind of, that's kind of where I'm going with that. So yes, it's still not secured in, but you know, we're one step closer about figuring out how we're going to put that in. So we've kind of got this side going now. I mean, I might put something very small in there. What I don't want to end up with like alligator mouth because it doesn't close properly. So something in there, but I think we need something over here. So we haven't had anything. We haven't put anything over here so far. So we're going to put something in. And I thought we'd have a concertina file, but we'd have it with a difference. So a concertina file, blimey Dave, like not happy with cutting your knuckle off last week. This time you want to, you know, I don't know, I've done something to my other knuckle. Anyway, so without further ado, I need to cut my nails, but I just didn't get around to it. So too much information. So I think I'm going to put something down here, so like a concertina file. Now I thought it'd be nice, because normally I make small concertina files. I thought we'd make a long one. So we're going to make a long one. And so in order to make a long one, we need some substrate, something to make it with. So there's this. Now these are different kinds of suspension files that we have at work. And basically I rummage through the rubbish, looking for these kind of things, the womble that I am, to make things for you guys. And so we're going to make it out of this. Okay, so it's like file folder, same material, it's orange. It's actually what we have our personnel files in, but when they're on plastic runners, and when the plastic breaks, they're useless. They don't hang from the suspension rail, so I kind of commandeer them. So I've just put that away, and I actually need it, Dave. So stop being so tidy. Stop being so tidy, Dave. Who are you? You're never tidy. So we're not gonna measure. Why measure? Forget measuring. Who needs measurements? So I'm gonna put it to about there. We'll just have a look and see whether there is a measurement to that. That about there. Well, let's go with 5 3/4, shall we? So 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4. Put those back in there. Let's put that back over there and close that up. Okay. So I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4. So we need a paper cutter, which is handily just here because I've been making something else. Oh, what I've been making is inspired by Tracy Fox. Is this? So let me just put this out of the way for a second. So it's this. So it's I haven't cut all of the strings off it yet, you know, from sewing it. But it's got a little tuck here. It's got a pocket here. It's got a corner tuck here with a pocket here, and then it's got another pocket in here. And I quite like it. So I just made it out of the paper that I could find to hand. I'm going to make a different one, and I think I'm going to make a different one to stick on the front of the journal. So I think that will be in my follow-up video. You know, the ones I do that go directly to YouTube. go directly to YouTube, do not pass go, do not collect 200, that sort of thing. So, anyway, there's the line that we said. It's a line, we don't know whether it's the line that we said. No, it's the line that we said. So hopefully you can see, because I haven't got the light on. I think it's still quite light in here, so you don't really need it. So we've got this. So this is going to be, I'm going to cut it a bit because it's a bit manky at the top. Manky, because that's a technical word, isn't it, Dave? And I quite fancy this bit here. Quite fancy that. So what we're going to do is going to cut another bit at 5 and 3/8. It's there. It's just there, Dave. Just cut it to there. It's, 5 3/4. So we're going to cut it to there. That line that I marked on here that nobody can see. I'm going to cut it to there anyway. I'm going to cut that. Okay, let's cut it and not actually cut it then, Dave, shall we? There we go. It's holding on for dear life. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut this down so it's nice and neat, and that's a nice straight edge just there. So we'll cut that, and in the process I will try not to lose a knuckle, try not to lose any other part of my body, whilst telling you all to be really careful when you're cutting, and then do like go and cut myself live last time. So, and I don't have another person in the house to kind of come and rescue me. Like Brian came and he was downstairs painting for me and had to come upstairs and put a plaster on. So what I'm going to do is, it's that side I want. So what we want is, we're going to have this and we're going to gusset it, but what I want is a front flap, and we're going to use this as the front flap because I like the detail in that. So first of all, we want to put a gusset in. Now handily it already has one because it's a suspension file, so we will use that. Why make another one if you've already got one? So that'll be our file. Possibly that way around because this side is slightly shorter. And we want to think about this. No, so we want to cut this so that we can have a flap, and that's handily also got the same gusset. Well, it would do because it's going off the same folder, Dave. Sometimes I despair. So we want this, and we want to cut this down. We don't care where it cuts. We cut it to, because you're not really going to see this bit. Just draw a line across there. That'll do. But we want this to kind of come down the front, and it does. And we'll cut this bit off here. That's fine. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to cut this bit off, like I said, because this is again just that same raw edge that we had, and that's basically where the plastic rod was. That have cut off. So this had like a channel for the plastic rod. Okay, so we're going to have that, and we're going to cut this bit off. We don't care how we cut it. Nobody's going to see this bit anyway. So I'm going to cut that. Notice how I've got my fingers much further away from the edge now. Once bitten, twice shy, or once cut, twice shy. So, although I want this detail on the front, I don't want it here, because if you can see, it's folded over, okay, and I want to see if I can get this apart. Now, it might not go right, but we're going to give it a go. I'm just going to pull that apart and just do the same on this bit here. Oh, it's a good job I didn't cut my nails, because I wouldn't have been able to do this without some leverage. Lever? Wrong lever! I think that's from The Emperor's New Groove, that quote. I think. I'm sure it is, yes. If you've never seen The Emperor's New Groove, go and watch it, and there's a bit where they say wrong lever. lever. I don't know why they say lever when it's a lever. Well, no, we say lever in the UK. I don't know whether other places say lever. They might do. It's like route and route, isn't it? So, I'm going to have that there. I'm going to stick it there. And that's all nice. It was so easy. It's making this. Blimey. I don't know whether I'm going to need an hour. No, I'll need to put the innards in. The gubbins. So, that's another word that I don't know whether it translates. You'll have to tell me. Gubbins. I don't actually know what it means. It's just like a fun word, isn't it? Like, I've always known it as like, get the gubbins out of it, or get the, what's in that cupboard, or just gubbins. So like, I think it just means odds and ends. So I'm going to put this up to that fold. And just fold it over so that if you fold it over now, it just pushes it down if it needs to, which it did. You see how it's not quite up to that line? There's a bit of a gap. If I'd left it right up to it, it wouldn't have folded over so well. So that's that. So basically, it's going to be like this. It's going to open out as far as we've got to make the concertina bit at the sides first. And then it's going to have a front like that. Okay, so yeah, that'll do. I'm happy. I think I'm happy. I think that's going to be okay. Let's just make sure that it doesn't overhang. No, it doesn't overhang. I'm happy. That's fine. Okay, so now we're going to make the concertina. So in order to make the concertina, you need more papery kind of paper. He says. Papery kind of paper. It being paper, it would be papery. So I'm just off camera for a moment. For Mo, hold that thought. While I'm really talking into my microphone because I'm looking down. So if it suddenly got louder, that's the reason why. Okay, so this is the kind of thing. So this is more papery than card. My gosh, this is like honestly, I haven't planned any of this, and it just seems to be the right length. Okay, so we're going to have two of them. So let's cut them both down to the same length, which is where that fold is. I don't believe this. This is like meant to be. I am going to make it a little bit shorter, so I'm going to cut this very bottom edge off where it has a rounded corner. We don't need the rounded corner, and actually we don't want the rounded corner because that will interfere with our concertina. So I'm going to cut that bit off. I'm going to cut this bit off. Hopefully that line will be sufficient. So cut that line off. Okay, so these are going to be our concertinas. Okay, now I know that they don't match, but do they have to match? I don't think so. I don't know whether we might want to double it. So let's get some more paper now and get ready, just in case. Just in case. There's another piece of paper here. And there's another piece of paper here. These are slightly thicker. I don't think that's long enough. Is it long enough? Nope. Can't use that. It's not long enough. Right. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Right, that'll do. That's papery. That's papery. And that's papery. That's a bit more cardy. So those two are the sizes that we want. I'm going to cut this one down Maybe we'll use a different page. Just, oh, blimey. Hang on a minute, this is going to be epic because my laptop's on it. Let's just tear a page out. We don't care where it comes from. Doesn't really matter. We'll just do it anyway. Let's just tear it. Well, when you say, when you say it doesn't really matter, and then you kind of like have to pick a page. And the power of Grayskull. I have the power. Okay. Okay. So it's all coming out today. I have no idea what I'm talking about. The Grayskull. That's He-Man, isn't it? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah. All right. Don't ask. Please don't ask. Well, you can ask, but I can't tell you because I have no idea. Okay. Let's just cut another bit off. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be part of your finger either, so. I keep watching that back and, like, I can't really understand how I managed to do it, but I did, obviously, as we all saw it happen, so. I put it on my YouTube, you see, so now it's there for all eternity for people to watch me slice the top of my finger. It's getting better. It did become a very big crater and like a little flap of skin that, like, it was hanging. It was stuck down by the blood. But every time I, did something, I'd move my hand and it would. Sorry, for some reason my laptop's flashing. I'd put my hand in something and then I'd rip the top of it up again and it'd bleed again, and then I'd be standing talking like this at work and somebody would say, you're splattering blood around the place. So yeah, so anyway, so do as I say and not as I do, so be careful when you're using a knife. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make some concertina folds. Okay, so it's always a good job. What is going on with my laptop? I'm just going to, I don't know, it just keeps flickering. I'm just going to drop it down while we carry on. In fact, actually, I'm going to shut that. So, we are going to start at the very beginning. So we're going to bend the first bit. We want to make that kind of straight. I'm not measuring. There's no measurements. I just want to get a nice straight bend in it first. And then we're going to flip it over. I'm going to bend it the other way. And what we want to do is we want to try and get it as even as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And your gusset can be as big as you as big as you like. I've got horribly dry fingers at the moment. Look, the skin is all, and that's because I've been washing my hands a lot more. I've been doing a lot of dirty stuff at work and washing my hands a lot more. And the reason I've been washing my hands a lot more is because I've got a hole in my finger, and I just don't want anything to get in there and make it all manky and gubbins. There you go. Welcome to the English language. Yeah. So I've got some news. Don't get all excited because it's not a big thing at the minute. I've been chatting to a very pleasant gentleman, and I've got a date next Saturday. We've been chatting about a week now, I think. And he's 6'2", and lives in Manchester. Sorry, for some reason I feel like I have to say it like that. Manchester. He lives in Manchester. He's from Nottingham. He's 50. So he's 2 years younger than me. And it's just nice. I feel alive. Johnny 5 is alive. Right, Dave, don't throw that over there because you want to know how big the gusset is. You want to know how big your gusset is. Let's face it. Who doesn't? I'm just trying to drop that in there so I can start the bending procedure. So, but like I say, early days. You know, we haven't met yet, but we're getting on really well. So, you know, it's nice, makes you feel young again. So, young again. I don't know what I'm saying. Young again. Of course, I'm young. I'm still young. I don't have to feel young again. I'm still young. I still young. I still be young, you know. I'll carry on now. I don't need that other bit. I just fold it over. I don't know why I suddenly developed a Somerset accent. I don't even know which Somerset. It's just like down south where they grow stuff, like farmer style accent. And apologies if you've got a Somerset accent or a similar kind of accent. No offence is meant. No offence is ever meant. But sometimes people don't just take offence; they take the gate as well. So, you know what I say. The old ones are the best, and that's why I'm still here. So the rest of my week. So besides talking to a young gentleman, I don't. I don't know why to say it like that. So it sounds seedy. A young gentleman. You have a gentleman caller. No gentleman callers. Shut up, Dave. Just shut up, Dave, for 2 minutes. Go on, see what it's like to shut up for 2 minutes. Oh, damn it. So what you ideally want is you want both of the folds. Let me just open it. Oh no, I think they do. So, they both end up being the pointed. The cut bit is on the same side, which they are. So I thought that had gone wrong, but it hadn't. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this to give me a guide for this one. Now this all makes sense to me, but it might not make any sense to you. And if that's the case, I would suggest watch it on repeat and. And see if you can figure it out, because I'm trying to explain things at the moment. You know what I say? Words, they don't come easy to me. How can I find a way to make you see I love you? Words don't come easy. Yeah, that's it. That's. You're not the only ones. If you're out there thinking, oh, I'd love if Dave could sing. I'd love it too. I'd love to be able to sing, but alas, can't be super talented every way. I'm super talented with paper, so I'm not. I don't think I'm super talented. I just don't want people to think I'm really big-headed, because I think that. I don't think that. I'm a good crafter. I'm creative. I'm good at my job. I'm a kind person. I'm a bit nuts. Can't be good at everything. So, I'm gonna fold this. So there's a lot of folding. Obviously, the folding bit is not the most exciting or stimulating. So, and tomorrow we will watch paint dry live. Oh, come now. Come now. Come now. There we go. Okay, slightly out, because that's got a bigger lip, but never mind. So we've got those two. Oh, no, we need this back. Just going to slot that into there. Look, the reason I keep doing this is because then this gives me a bit of a template. You slot it in, it becomes like it was part of the original piece of paper. You can fold on the line that you originally had. And you can straighten it up as you go. So just fold that a bit up there, do that, and fold it. And once you've done a couple, you can then take the other piece of paper away. It's just giving you a bit of a guide as to how big the other piece is. So you end up with similar size gussets. But really, you really need to be careful now. Don't get them moist. Nobody wants a moist gusset. So. Why do you do it, Dave? Why? Tell me. Just lead yourself down these like paths that only end in one way, and that's like with some innuendo or euphemism. So anyway, that'll do. Shut up, Dave. Get on with it. So we've got 2 plain ones and 2 patterned ones. And what we want to do is we want to, where they kind of overlap. Now that's the problem. Right, so like I say, you have to end with a, you don't have to, but it looks better if you end with the end of the paper on the same side for both bits. And this one, I don't think it does. So I'll slot that into there. No, it doesn't. So that one ends the other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that back. I'm going to cut a little bit off it. Oh, here we go, a little bit off it. When I say a little bit off it, I don't mean a little bit off me. So I can just see where that line is, and I'm going to cut to about there. There we go. So I've got a similar sort of, sticks out, similar sort of way. Okay, what I'll do is I'll glue those 2 bits together now. So, which one do I use? Where is the glue book? Glue book, where are you? Okay. Just bear with me a second while I find my glue book, because I had it about a minute before I came on the air, and like no idea where it is now. So we'll just use this. So I want those 2 to go onto each other like that, don't we? It doesn't quite line up. Am I worried? Yeah, I'm just going to take a bit off the edge of this. I'm just going to use pair of scissors to do that, though. That's because it was just sticking out a little bit too far, and so when you hook them over onto each other, it was just pushing the other one away too far, and it meant that then this edge went out of alignment too much. So I've sorted that out now. So we'll ink this bit here. We're not inking it, Dave. When I just said I'm inking it, I'm not inking it. You can clearly tell this is not ink. So I'm just going to put some sticky on this flap. Well, completely went off the page then. Went off the piece of paper, I mean. Oh dear, Dave. The flap is nice and sticky now, and all my gussets are there. See, that's what you get for making yourself laugh. Oh, excuse me a minute while I just take a swig of drink. Fabulous. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same with these 2. So we want it to be. See, those end in different directions as well. want to do. Let's just work this out first. So if I put that on there, then they both end in the same direction, don't they? However, that's really too big, way too big. So cut this bit off. Not all of this, just a bit. Can't cut a straight line, clearly, but, like, you know, nice try, Dave. Nice try. So, that on there. Yeah, that'll be, so then those two bits, yeah, that's fine. They're fine. They're fine. So, okay. Glue down here. Get that nice and sticky. We won't say it again, but we'll get it nice and sticky. Okay, and we're going to stick that bit that's slightly shorter, so we'll stick that one onto there. I'll try and get them to line up now. Stick that down. There we go. Okay, so we've made the two gussets for the sides, and I'm sorry, there is no other term I can think of for gusset. You might know a different term for gusset, but I tell you, it'll be too late, because by the time I've read the comments, I'll have made the damn thing. So, okay, so now the reason why you want the cut edges both facing the same way is because you want them to face in, so that you only see the folded bits on the outside. So you have them alternate directions. So then what we're going to do is going to open this up. So this is the lid, so we don't want that. We want to open this bit up, and we're going to be sticking them into here. Now you kind of want it to line up with the edge, okay, and you want to just give it a check first before you stick anything. How does it look? Will it be okay? You kind of like, you can't really see. Let me just see if I can turn this up. So it'll look like that, basically. Yeah, so, and it should then expand a little. So let's just see how far they expand. So if you think it's going to be opening like that, so it expands, that's fine. You know, you're not filing your tax returns in it, so that will be perfect. Bob is definitely your uncle. Well, if he's not, he is now. So Bob is your surrogate uncle if he's not your uncle. So, and if you do have an uncle called Bob, let me know. So I'm just going to glue down here. I'm using the 3-in-1 just because it's a bit stronger. It also makes the paper stronger because it's like, you know, it gives it like a plastic kind of effect. So it's, you get not just get a stronger bond, but you make the substrate stronger as well. So there's a couple of ideas I've been working on. So like, I haven't actually made them. There's a couple of ideas that I'm thinking of making, and I don't know whether they're things that people want to come along the ride on the ride for, or whether they're things that you think, no, they don't really appeal to you. So one is, so I like watching Nick the Booksmith. I don't know whether anybody else watches Nick the Booksmith. I just really enjoy watching her. Let's just check that is going to. Oh, that's like the perfect length, isn't it? And she's made some book nooks, and I quite fancy making a book nook. Okay, so they're like book-sized shapes that slot in between books, and they're like got a little what are they called? A diorama in. So they're like a miniature set in them. Dave, did you actually put that in the right place? No, it's that side. Good job you were paying attention. There's that I'm thinking of doing. Obviously, I'll finish this doing this, or I'll do it interspersed between other things. sorry, concentrating and gluing, and then trying to talk as well. It kind of just baffled me for a minute there. My brain cell was otherwise occupied, couldn't cope. And the other thing is, I'm definitely going to make, whether you guys want to come along for the ride or not, I'm going to make a giant at some point. Don't expect it to be done imminently. I'm going to make a giant book. So, like a really big kind of ledgery type book, kind of the size of a glass mat. I don't know how big it'll be yet, but I want it to be like a boom as you drop it, that kind of thing. And I want it to be kind of like full of curiosities and mysteries and hidden pages, and maybe like that kind of hidden ink where you have to rub it with some lemon juice, or that kind of thing. So kind of a bit quirky, a bit mystery, that kind of thing. It's in a lot of the techniques that I don't often do. So like when I make my double sliders or my keyhole aperture and all of those kind of things, the technical moving parts, kinetic stuff that I used to make a lot of. So it would kind of include that in it. No, you need to push that one out of the way because that's the wettest one, Dave. You're just trying not to let the glue dry too quickly. So I'm going to stick this in, and I might have to just lift it up and have a look. Oh gosh, that's like it was perfect, like it was meant to be. Okay, so that's in there, and then we're just going to flip it round, and we'll do the same for this side. But it's easier to just do one side at a time, and then you'll get them both more level, straight sort of thing. Level straight. Level 42. There is something about you, baby, so right. Okay, level 42. Sorry, I just made myself sing. So yeah, they're the kind of things that I'm kind of toying with at the moment. So tell me what you think. Do you want to see me make it, or do you want to see it made? Do people like flip throughs when things are made? Do they not? I don't know. These things, answers on a postcard. I'm not 100% happy about that sticking out there, but it's going to be difficult to rectify. The only thing to do is to try and do this, but without cutting through the last layer. It's just about the placing of it. If I'd butted it further down, it probably wouldn't have stuck out. So let's see if we can get those off without cutting through the thing. That'll do. There we go. It can be rectified. Okay, so there we go. So that is like our little file folder. So it's a long one, yeah, but there we go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dividers in it as well. Okay, now, really, in hindsight, you should put the dividers in first, Dave. But we're here, and we can do these things. We are competent crafters, aren't we? So the best thing to use is something fairly stiff, but something you're not going to worry about, that you're not going to see. So because you're not going to see it. So that's why you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. So this would do, because I'm not really worried about this. I might get a couple out of this, because your divider doesn't have to go all the way down to the bottom, and it doesn't have to go, and it's going to be shorter. Now, honestly, it's much easier if you put these in first, but because I wasn't paying attention, why would I pay attention? You guys are here. What, you expect me to pay attention as well? What? How does that work? So, It's because I got talking about what I was going to do next, and like, finish what you're doing first, Dave. Finish what you're doing now, and then worry about what you're doing next. So let's cut these down to the same size. Let me measure the next one. I'll just cut it. This was from another project that I've just. It's actually from that that thing I've just shown you, the Tracy Fox thing. So, you know what I like about Tracy Fox? If you make something and she makes it, she credits you. Whereas, you know, she'll say, you know, I've seen it here, I've also seen it here and here, but, you know, this is where the video that I saw it on, which is nice, because, you know, at the end of the day, it makes you feel like you're not invisible, doesn't it? So, you have to put that in there. So there, that's where one's going to... Sorry, it's really hard for you to see, isn't it? So I'm going to put one there. It's not going to go all the way down like it's just dropped down. And I think I'm going to put one there. But they'll be more about that sort of height. Okay, so... or should we have them right up to the top? But anyway, let's just glue them in, Dave. We'll worry about where they're going to go as you're sticking it in. So, no, Dave, let's think about this. Let's think. I was thinking if it went all the way down, you wouldn't be able to have a tab on it. But if it comes, it sticks out a bit. Or would you get a tab on? Oh, you would. You'd get a tab in the gap. Okay, so it's not going all the way down to the bottom, like we said, but it's not going, but it's being stuck towards the top. Right, okay. You can figure all of this out yourself when you're... Sorry, that makes it sound like you're on your own, but you are. When you're doing yours, and you can figure out what's best for you. So, Worcester's telling me what's best for him, and that's that I pay attention to him right now, right here, right now. Can you hear him? What, Worcester? You can't come in. I'm like, I don't care. I know those other dogs have walked past. I know it's terrible. And how dare they? I agree. It's terrible. So anyway, so sorry, talking to mein Hund, who thinks it's terrible that other dogs are allowed to walk past his house. It's like Scooby-Doo. Can you hear him? What? Somebody down a well? The caretaker did it? Okay, so I'm going to put that in there, and that's going to stick there. I'm just going to push that down. So when I say it's easier to put it in, you know, before you stick it all together, it's not hard to put it in now, so don't worry about it. Okay, so they're in, and we've now got the two things stuck together. Just bear with me a moment while we unsticky them on this side. Just need to get my hand in there. It's where all the glue, you know, when the glue kind of spills out, and that's what's happened. It's spilt out, and it's spilt out over the wrong side. So that bit there, I need it to do. And okay, so there we go. So we've got two. Not perfectly spaced, but you know, never mind. So we're going to put some tabs on it. So we've got that one, and let's see what else we've got in here. So I think I'm going to use the ones that match with the background, which I cut out. They're not the whale tail ones that Joe Thornton made for me. I should keep those for the project. Oh, that's not a good idea, is it, Dave? Pick the bag up by the wrong end and tip everything out. He's found a new enemy. That's why he's making a lot of noise. There's a new kid on the block. There's a new dog that, well, it's not new because it's giant. So there's this Alsatian that comes for a walk, and he's found that he's particularly upset about that. So they must have moved into the area because, like, you know, they haven't sought permission from the gatekeeper, aka Worcester. So he's not happy, is he? I know, but you know, it's live and let live, Worcester. The world would be a better place if we didn't care about what the people did. So, and also he's a bit disturbed because, like, he normally comes in and has a bit of a fuss from me while I'm doing a live. However, I didn't realise, but my work bag, which is giant because, like, I've put laptops in it, not just my laptop, but other people's when I'm sorting theirs out. I have to put them in. So it's a giant laptop bag, and he can't get past it. So it's at the entrance to the craft room, and I didn't realise. So he can't get in. So he's not a happy bunny or a happy woofer either. So there we go. Put that there. So we've got two little file foldery things there. Divider things. Right. Oh, glue. End of glue. The end of the glue. So that's on there. For some reason it's not quite square, but it's alright. So I'm just thinking, how do I want this to kind of flap down? It could do with being secured in some way. Now, I guess the best thing would be to have a magnet, but I have magnets. They are here. I keep them in this little wooden thing because if you keep them anywhere else, they just end up being attached to everything. So I've got these, which attached to each other, so I might put those on, and then I've got loads of these little tiny magnets, but like I say, I keep them in there, and then I don't end up with like everything stuck to it. So I think I'm going to put the magnet on the inside of here. So I literally, this one is one I've pulled off something else. It came off a card, or it was a gift box that was given to me. Ever the one for recycling. You know, if you get these things, I take them apart. It's like cards that, you know, light up or play music or that sort of thing. Take them apart and get the gubbins out of the inside. There we go. Said that word again. Gubbins. So I'll stick that in there. This is big enough now to get my hand in, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put see where the magnet is. That's there. So that's about right. That's about where we want it to be. And what I will do is I will put something over the back of the magnet now, so that when you're pushing something down, you don't push the magnet off, and all we need is just a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything decorative. That'll do. I'm just going to make this sticky. You want to get it right up to the edge, otherwise it'll, you know, anything you put in the thing will catch on it. So just going to get that extra sticky. And just spread that glue out a bit. Flip it round, and then put that in there, whilst trying not to stick it to everything like that. Again, this is a good idea if you do this before. Where's the magnet there? Not the magnet? It is. So I'm just going to flip that over. I'm going to get the sticky off my fingers. Again, like I say, do this all before you put it together. I mean, like, you know, it's great. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, though, isn't it? You know, I should have done this before, but I didn't. So, I also accidentally touched the front of the file folder as I was putting that in, so I'm just rubbing the glue off the front, off the bit where I touched it. That's what I like about the 3-in-1. You can just rub it off and it comes off in little balls. That's what I say. So there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to put that magnet on here. So we're going to glue this and spread that out a bit. Hopefully there's not enough so that it scooges out. I'm going to put that there, and hopefully that will pick it up at the point we want. Can't feel where it is, it's there. And then I wanted it to come with the piece of paper, but it didn't, did it? It just carried on sticking to the magnet, which is no good for me. There we go. That's where we want it. So, like I say, this glue just rubs off. It's a dream. It's great. Okay, so that's our magnet enclosure. And again, we need to cover this over. So this time you're going to see it. So, you know, you could put something on there that you might want to see. So you might want to have a little, like, you know, index of contents, or not. I was trying to think of or something else, but I couldn't. So or not is the answer. We could have a picture on the inside, or not. So let's see, what have we got? Stock handling. Maybe if we just have that on there. Well, let's ink that up and make that. This has come off an old book or something. So I'll just ink this up. Let's get my things out. My brushes, because it's better for this kind of thing. It would be if I got some ink on it. Oh, avalanche. I've just touched something and the whole of the stuff on the windowsill has just fallen off now. Where's my vintage photo? There we are. That's what I was looking for. So, just going to put some of this on here. Make it look a bit aged. I have no idea what it's like to feel aged before anybody says anything. Just in case Leah's watching. Yeah, so I mean, like, you might be talking to me, which I will talk back to you after the video is finished. I did have to shut my laptop for some reason. It was just flashing at me, and you know, when the picture just kind of keeps refreshing and flashing, so just couldn't cope with that. So I've shut the laptop, so it doesn't keep doing that to me. So again, I'm just going to put some 3-in-1 on here, just to cover up that magnet. Just going to go over the whole thing. Just going to rub some of that through. So, like, I don't mind touching this glue. If you don't like touching it, don't touch it. That's the best thing, best solution to everything, isn't it? If you don't like it, don't do it. So, that'll just cover up the magnet. Well, it's not the magnet, because it's the magnetic thing, the thing to which the magnet attaches. That's what it is. I bought some. So for my new kitchen, I've bought some metal boards. That you get these shelves, like bamboo shelves with a massive magnet on the back. And you attach it, and they're really strong. You know, you can have tea caddies and all sorts of things on it. And the thing is, the amount I was umming and ahhing about it, because the reviews for the board was terrible. So on B&Q, the reviews for the board, the board on which they're attached to were terrible. I was like, I can't understand. It's a sheet of metal. I can't understand why. And it's called a magnetic board, and people were complaining that it wasn't magnetic. It doesn't have to be magnetic. It's a board to which you attach a magnet to. The board itself isn't magnetic, so anyway, it's for me it was logical that the board wasn't going to be, it was a sheet of metal and you attach magnets to it. I wasn't expecting it to be magnetic. It's a really good job. Like a magnet that size would be, devastating, wouldn't it? Like, you walk past with a bit of jewellery on, you'd be stuck to the board, or you've had a hip operation, you'd be like attached to the board as well. So anyway, I digress. Did you know I digress? I do that quite often, don't I? So we've made this. This is going to go in here, and it's going to go there, and it's going to be a little bit alligatory, but hey, we don't care, do we? So this is going to go in here. Now I think it's just a bit boring, plain, so maybe we need to ink it. Let's ink it up first and see how we feel about it then. So I want a much harder edge, so I'm going to use a sponge. So as in a harder edge, I want it to be, I don't want it, a brush is really great for adding a soft touch to it, but I want it to have like a real grubby look to it. So grubbiness will always appear on a hinge, so we'll put some grubbiness on this bit. Remember, this bit's going to be stuck down, so you're not going to see it. The top bit you're going to see. So we'll put that all across here. That they generally get more worn on that bit. They get thumbed on that bit, don't they? So you know what I'm like. I'm all for like trying to get an authentic patina on something. And again, on the fluffy edges. So the edges of these kind of things usually get fluffed up. So you can use one of those. I'd love to show you where it is, but I don't know where it is. I'd love to show you what it is, but I don't know where it is. Okay, so you can buy those things for making jagged edges. There you go, it's there. It's completely wrong colour from what I was looking at. So these are just basically a blade inside a slot, so you don't hurt yourself, so you can't cut yourself on the blade. And you can use these for making the edges rough. Now, if you don't have one of those, use a pair of scissors. Okay, again, they have a bit there. Just be careful when you're doing it, but that will also make the edges rough. Okay, so there you go. So you get the same effect regardless. Okay, I'll put that down because you know what I'm like for cutting myself. So just want to make the edges look a bit more fluffed up than they currently are. Has a bit of authenticity to it. I'm also going to chomp this corner off on a more rounded corner like that. Yeah. Put that in there, and then chomp it. Perfect. And then I'm just going to rough the edge up. Bit of a ruffian I am. The only way that I'm a ruffian. I've owned one of these for a long time, and I really did not use it very much until I really started doing junk journaling. So, because especially file folders, they're just that sort of material where it just breaks down really quickly. I don't actually know what they use so much in file folders because they fall apart really easily. Although, actually, no, to be fair, the older ones, older file folders are still going. We've got quite a few at work that are like, you know, from the 80s. That's the newer stuff that's like really thin that doesn't last very long. Okay, so just going to make all of that. Now that I've kind of broken down all the fibres, I should be able to get more ink in it. Make it look a bit more distressed. I think I need a new vintage photo. It's getting a bit dry now. So I kind of have to squeeze some moisture out of it. And I know that you can buy re-inkers for them, but can I find a re-inker for vintage photo? Can I buffalo? So just, you know, it's all very well for you for Tim Holtz and Ranger to make these things and say, oh, you can re-ink them and you can save the planet by re-inking it, but they have to be available, folks. There's no point selling re-inkers but not actually having them available. And I don't know whether it's a UK thing that they're not available here. And it's not like pandemic has caused it, or a lorry driver shortage, because that's what we're currently at in the UK. We've got a shortage of lorry drivers because we sent everybody home. So what you get for voting for Brexit, so and sending everybody home, you get shortages. So yeah, so well, that's a bit more patinery, isn't it? So let's put a bit more on. Oh, probably a bit much there. Let's get a brush now. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to buy myself a new vintage photo. I've tried the refresher as well. There's that spray refresher. This stuff. It doesn't. I don't see any difference. I don't think it's made a blind bit of difference, to be fair. So, you know, other people might say it works a dream. I thought it did initially, but it doesn't last very long. Let's get some walnut stain on here. Just have to be careful of walnut stain because it is a lot darker. I'm just going to go in on the edges. That's perfect. That's kind of the real dirty grubbiness that I wanted to see. See, walnut stain hasn't been used as much, so it's got a lot more ink in it. I'm just going to go over a bit. I like the, you know, when it's a bit mottled with lots of different coloured browns. So, who knew I would like brown so much? I've stayed away from brown most of my life, so have a bit more on there and trying to blend that bit out. Okay, so we've done the vintage photo, we've done the thing. I know you should really have a different brush and all of that, but you know what, we haven't. Well, I haven't, I mean, so I never used to use this either, brush corduroy, but like I really got into this, and now this one's it's much wetter than the vintage photo, but it's nowhere near as wet as it once was. Oh, that's nice. I like that colour now. That's much more in keeping. Now it's a bit dirty on the inside. I'm not going to worry about that. It's all part and parcel of it, isn't it, really? I'm just going to put a light coating of this over the top. We could have a couple of ink splatters actually on it, so might put some of that on it, an ink splatter or two. You've got to have a splatter or two. Yeah, we're liking that. It's looking much better now. Well, I think it is. You might think, oh, he's ruined that now. But you do you. So I know people hate that saying now, but it works. Timmy says it all the time. Probably charging people to say it, actually. So Tim Holtz is like, he'll put his name on something and the price suddenly goes up. So there we go. A bit of patina on it. You can tell it's kind of like patinaed up because it now feels wet. a bit sticky. It's a bit sticky. I put a little bit more on it. Yeah? Who are you calling a moron? A little bit more on it. Yeah? Okay, and I'm also going to put some on the very edge. Not a lot. Not a lot. So I've got loads of like quotes going through my head, but like there's no point me saying them out loud because you won't know what they are because I won't be able to tell you where I've got them from. So anyway, so anyway, what am I doing? Anyway, just get on with it, Dave. Just carry on as you were. Right. So now we've got a file folder with gooed up the edges. That's a technical term. Gooed up. And we have some tabs on the top. We've got our magnet that keeps it closed. Still not entirely happy about the way it sits, but I really can't do anything about it. The only thing I could do is kind of maybe crush that bit in a bit. I'll crush that one down. No, it's not. I'm not going to be able to rectify it, so it's going to be a bit wonky. Oh well, a bit like me. It's a bit wonky. So it either sits like that and covers that bit, and sticks out there, or I stop it from sticking out there and it doesn't sit flush that side. And I think it's because I didn't put it on straight that way. So anyway, not worrying too much, like I say. So let's see how it's going to look. Oh, you see, that's better now. It was too stark before. I might put some like labels on the front. I might put some labels on, or some, officey type stamps or something. But we'll do this for now. I don't know what that's doing in there. That's not part of it. So we're going to stick this down. So I'm going to cover it liberally. I know this lovely pepping paper, and I'm covering it up. I can feel you all screaming, but we do these things. Now I think I might just leave that bit at the back. There's a little bit of a tuck. I'm not going to have it so it comes all the way down. If I do use it as a tuck. I'm going to draw a line there. Like a pocket, I mean, not a tuck. So I'm going to have it, glue it all the way down the sides. Oh, Dave, that was clever, wasn't it? So I'm going to put it onto here. Try and get it somewhere in the middle. And then what we've got is we've got somewhere to tuck behind it. So you get a little concertina file here, and then you've got a little tuck behind there. Let's see if I've got something I can tuck into it. This is the wrong size, but you've got like a place to. Oh, it's the wrong size, and I've lost it now. No, don't go down there. You don't go down there. Trust me, you don't. There we go. Got it out. Phew. So we could put something like, when we made these letter things, that could go. I said letter, not Alexa. Alexa's just come on. So, like, what you called? So you could put that down the back of there, or we could put those in the in the actual thing. We should leave it really until the glue was bonded, but you can put them in there. You could have your little correspondence-y things in there, so I made a few of them. So these ones, they can go in there. That can close up. There we go. That's going to have its board in it. I'm not going to put anything too big on here. Again, it's going to be another little tuck thing like this. And on there, I think I'm going to have a couple of pockets. So I think that's what we'll do next week. And then we're going to kind of be wrapping this up. Not wrapping it up, literally. And then I am going to do, I think that's going to be my next video. My video that comes after this. So not the live. I'm going to make one of these to go on the front of here. With some different, that was just using paper that I didn't mind using, but I think I'm going to make it with some paper I actually like this time. So, you know, not that I'm saying I don't like that paper, just that, you know, shut up, Dave. Just, you know, you don't know. You either know or you don't know. So, anyway, that's it. I'm going to go and have something to drink. I'm going to make myself a coffee, and you know, maybe then start another video. Who knows? Sorry, just needed to wet my whistle. So, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time. We did overrun a little, I think, although I don't know whether I started dead on time. So, my name is Dash of Dave, also known as Crafty Moose. You know what I'm going to say. I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. I hope you've had fun. I hope you've, you know, made something or just crafted along or just listened to my beautiful dulcet tones. You know, my singing. Maybe not my singing. Anyway, you all have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, or whatever time it is with you, and I will see you again in the next video. Take care of yourself, folks. Sending you lots of kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And lots of hugs. And I'll see you next time. Take care, folks. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.